All right. Hello, everyone. This is Gilberto. I'm the owner of Maverick Media Lab, and I'm here with one of our amazing clients, Linnea Clayton. She is a loan officer based out of Las Vegas. She's now transitioned to Colorado into a new position of being a branch manager. Super excited for her. And today she's going to share with us a couple insights onto what's worked for her, what for realtor meetings that we set for her, some follow-up, and what it's like working with Maverick Media Lab. So Linnea, just share with us, just a quick introduction of who you are and how you heard about our company.
So I have actually been in the business for about 31 years, and I was I am part of Carl White's Mortgage Marketing Animals. So that was how I originally heard about Maverick Media. Was some other people in that organization, in that group, use Gilberto, and he came highly recommended. And so I decided I needed to offload some of the day-to-day stuff I was doing. And that's when I gave you a call.
Nice. Love it. You mentioned, was it Eileen from the group?
It was Eileen.
On a Zoom call.
Yep. Eileen Garcia. We do when I was on the West Coast, when I was in Vegas and Pacific time, I got up at 5:30 every morning to do a call. 8:30 on the East Coast. It's a nationwide call that we all do. There's probably about 70 loan officers that get on the phone every morning. And so that was when, we were talking about how do we free up our time? And Eileen Garcia had started using you at that point and was having really good luck. And so I was a little jealous of the luck she was having. So
nice. That's when you reached out. Very cool. And that actually leads me to my next question. So you mentioned like timing was kind of like one of the big problems that you were struggling with. And I remember that from our first call. So kind of just like talk a little bit more about that. What were some of like before working with us, some of the issues and struggles that you were dealing with before we started like booking the realtor meetings for you?
One of the biggest thing is every Monday I call my core realtors. And so that's, 30, 40 realtors that I'm calling. And that takes several hours. It's not a quick task. On Tuesdays, I had another group that I called in, Wednesdays and Thursdays. And so my call time was nurturing relationships that I already had, but I needed to continue to add to that list of realtors. Realtors go by the wayside. We might have 30 now, and in a month from now, it could be only 20 we're doing business with for whatever reason. They get out of the business. Another lender promises them something, whatever it is. So we always have to constantly be sort of restocking our realtor list. And I didn't have time to call and set up appointments. I had time to jump on a Zoom call with an appointment if someone could make that appointment for me. I just did not have enough time in my day to go through a list of 400 realtors, because not everyone is going to make an appointment with me, right?
Yeah.
I would, 1 in 10 maybe. And that just took up way too much time. There's really no way for a loan officer to do that.
How many hours would you say that took up on average? Like, what was the range that you were seeing per week that it was taking?
Oh my gosh. I needed 10 or 20 hours more in my week in order to call enough prospective agents. And these were all qualified agents that I had, gone through and decided that person is someone I want to talk to. I would have needed probably 10 or 20 more hours a week in order to call all of them and hopefully set, my goal was always to set 3 to 5 more appointments per week. In order to get that 3 to 5, I'm going to have to call, probably 50, 60, 100 agents.
Wow. Yeah. I like how you know your numbers. Like that was clear from like the first conversation. Like you were very intentional about the type of agent that you wanted, but also like how much time it was taking and how many dials you had to make to get that. And I guess after working with us now, like can you talk about some of the results and like, not just like the deals, but also like the time saved and go into detail a little bit about that.
Let's talk about the results. So In the beginning, we got off to a little bit of a slow start. Those first couple of weeks, I only had a couple of appointments, and I was kind of getting a little bit nervous, thinking, oh my gosh, what did I do here? And then it snowballed, and it was like drinking from a fire hose. So much that, if you'll remember, after the first, I think it was 3 weeks or 4 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe 4 weeks I called you and just said, pause, stop. I can't keep up with, with the, it was great. The thought of having like 7 or 8 appointments a day, in theory, it was a great thought, because it was like, oh, I'll just come in and I'll just call these agents and I'll burn through all of these. And, no, I had to tell you to stop and slow
I remember
down.
that email.
Yeah,
I
because
remember that email.
and I think we paused for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
While I got caught up, because here's what was happening was, I'm getting 6, 7, 8 appointments every day. And, I love that dialer. I mean, I truly love your appointment setter.
He's good at what he does. Yeah.
Because there was days I'd come in and I'd look, I'd be like, oh God, I was so happy I only had like 3 or 4 appointments. And all of a sudden I'd hear ding, ding, ding. I knew exactly when he came to work, because he was in there and he was setting those appointments for me. But what happened was I had too many appointments, and then I didn't have time to follow up. So we had to put it on pause so I could build those relationships, and the greatest part of all of this is I can tell in the first 30 or 40 seconds when I get a realtor on the phone, if it's going to be someone I like. Am I going to am I going to click with them? Do I have chemistry with that person?
Yeah.
And because I had so many appointments, it was okay if I didn't click. Normally we don't have enough appointments, and so we're trying to force a relationship.
Yeah.
This way with you, I had so many appointments that I was like, oh, well,
Yeah, you can choose.
I don't like that person, I'm on to the next one.
Yeah.
And I was able to weed through and find those people that I really liked working with. So that was huge. So we paused for that couple of weeks, and then we went back at it, and I marked out a lot more time on my calendar, or I should say blocked out, that he couldn't make appointments for me. And I never in a million years would have thought I would say, I have an appointment setter that I have to rein in and block out my calendar so he doesn't make appointments for me. Like that was just phenomenal.
Love it. And after taking during that round, all the rounds of realtor appointments, what were some of the results of when it started to snowball, the referrals and then the deals closed? What did that look like once you started taking those meetings and saw the snowball effect?
Because I was able to pick through those realtors and find out the ones that I was going to have a good relationship with, the deals started coming in much faster. In the past, when I would meet an agent and we would start to develop a relationship, it was probably 4 to 6 weeks maybe before I would see a deal, at least 4 weeks before I would see a deal. This was completely different in that I wasn't forcing a relationship with anybody because I had so many to choose from. Those deals started coming in, and in 90 days, I actually quintupled my business.
Wow.
It got to the point in, I think it was June, I again had to pull back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, I couldn't keep up. I was trying to rebuild a team also at that point, and I just couldn't keep up with the amount of loan apps coming in. It was, I think it was, in all my years, it was the first time I've had to pause an appointment setter, and I've tried other appointment setters in the past, and also had to start kind of offloading some of those realtors that I'd now built a relationship with. I ended up bringing in a junior loan officer, and had her making calls for me because I got way too busy too fast. You know what I mean? I wasn't prepared for it. So, I mean, that's thanks to you. I did not make one appointment to set, or one call to set up an appointment that entire time.
Yeah. And one thing I was very interested in having your feedback on, so that it brings value to the other loan officers like listening to this. What were some of the things that you found worked and didn't work when you had those realtor meetings? Like, what are some of the consistent things that you found that have like really helped increase the amount of people that actually said yes to working with you from the realtors?
Here's is something kind of interesting, and I did learn this from Carl White. And when I call a realtor, when I talk to a realtor, I never mention anything about my business. It's all about them. And I usually try to go on Facebook and see, do we have some sort of connection? Do they have, funny memes that they put on their Facebook feed?
Yeah.
Or do they have dogs? Because I'm a total dog person. And I got to tell you, I think almost every single agent I do business with is a dog person. And that's kind of how we connect. But I would call them and I would just talk to them about, hey, I just was going through Facebook. I had my assistant reach out to you. I found your name on Facebook, when I'd actually done a lot more research than that before I ever sent you that list. But and I liked your meme about, whatever, or, oh my God, your dog is cute. I'm a total dog person. And we would talk about that. And then I'd say, I was just interested in finding out more about your business and, your real estate practice. How long have you been in business? And we would talk completely about them. And invariably, they would then try to ask me questions because they're waiting for me to sell them. And a lot of times I'd say, oh, you know what? I know you have a lender. This isn't what this call is about. I just want to get to know you a little more. Well, that really piques their interest because now they're like, why is she not telling me all about her products? And I'm going to say 90% of the time, they try to turn the conversation around and ask me about my business. And I just say, oh, you know what? I'm a lender, I've been in the business 30 years and, we're like a commodity. We all have the same thing. We all say we've got the best service and the best rates and we always close on time. So anyway, so tell me about this new listing you have. And I would put it right back on them. By the end of the conversation, they're asking me if I can call them, if I'll stay in touch with them. So it's, it's not a hard sale. And again, because I have so many appointments, I can just find the people I like.
I didn't feel like that force in the call is what you're saying, because you were just focusing on them and there was like no pressure. It was just literally like just focusing on them and learning about what they're like, if they would even be a fit for you. That would be like the main focus of the call.
Exactly. So do we fit together? I don't want it. And there were agents that I did get, maybe felt like we'd have a good relationship and I got a deal or two from. And then, in that transaction, you find out what someone's really like. And it was like, oh, great, doing business with you. And I just take them off my list because I have 100 more agents waiting to talk to me because I've had so many appointments. I picked through them, decided who I liked, and just built a relationship. I haven't sold them on anything at that point. They're now trying to sell me on why they should send deals to me.
I love that. Yeah. And that's interesting you would say that, because oftentimes like what I hear very commonly when I talk to loan officers is like, what do I say to like convince them to work with me? Like they think that there needs to be like a pitch or something like that, like some sort of like offer them leads to get them to work.
Oh my gosh.
It sounds like really with your approach, it's like fully like the reason they're working with you is because you're so good at building that relationship with them, and through the questions you ask, the intention for the call, like they just feel naturally pulled to trying you out, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't give them one reason why they should work with me. I don't tell them I have the best, I make a joke about it. Oh, we all say we have the best rates, best customer service, and close on time, because every lender does say that.
Yeah.
And in the past, I would, oh my gosh, I always close on time and we have really good rates. They don't care.
Yeah.
They honestly don't care. They want someone that they know is going to answer the phone when they call. Of course, they want you to close their loans. But the other thing is that people don't follow up. They don't call the realtor. You'll call them one time. Maybe you'll have that appointment and you like that person, but you don't have them on a schedule where you call them. And I call every Monday. And you'll hear this from people that coach with Carl or people that are coaching in the core program. Monday is the day to call. And my agents know that I'm just going to call. I'm not even going to ask them for business. I'll be like, hey, what'd you do this weekend? Did you work or did you get to play? So if they say they work, I'll be like, oh my gosh, did you have borrowers out? We'll talk about that. Or, oh, I didn't work this weekend. Oh, cool. I hope you got some family time, did something fun. We'll chat about that. And then I end the conversation with, well, you know what? It's Monday. I know you're super busy. I'm going to let you get back to work. But hey, if you have anybody you need pre-qualified, just let me know. Do you have anybody that you need me to call? If they say, that triggers them a lot of times, say, oh yeah, I did meet someone, or, I'm going to give this person your number or whatever. Or if they say no, I was like, okay, cool. Hey, I'll talk to you later in the week, or I'll talk to you next week. And that's it. And then I get texts from them throughout the week, like just chatting with me because we're friends now.
Yeah. You built the rapport like really quickly, the trust and the like is there. Awesome. Was there anything apart from like the Monday calls? Was there other things that you also did as well to follow up with them or just kind of stay top of mind?
Yeah. What I do is also on Thursdays, I send a text and hey, and I always, say, hey, before you put butts in your car seat this weekend, drag them around town, let's make sure they're pre-qualified. And everybody kind of laughs at that. And then on Friday, so I try not to work the weekends. And this is actually kind of funny how this works out. On Friday, I send a text message to all of my agents. And even some agents that I'm maybe not working with yet, but I'll send an email and I'll say, hey, just want to let you know what my weekend office hours are. I'm going to be available on Saturday from 10 to 2 and on Sunday from 9 to 11 or 1 to 3, whatever it is. I'm telling them that if they call me on the weekend and they call me between those hours, that I'm going to answer their call quickly. I'm going to make sure I'm there and available for them. The funny thing is I get almost no calls on the weekends. Very seldom do I ever get a call on the weekend, but they love the fact that I just told them I'm available on the weekend. If I'm going to take a weekend off, like purposely take it off and, go somewhere where I'm not going to have cell service or something, and I send out a text message, I'll say, hey, I'm not working this weekend. I'll catch up with you on Monday. I always get a message back saying, oh my gosh, have a good time. You deserve the time off. Funny thing was, I told you I was working last weekend. Nobody called me. They waited till Monday.
The high amount of communication.
It's what?
A high amount of communication.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's all about communication. All about communication. The other thing I do is every Tuesday, I call all the agents involved in my transactions. I call the agents, I call title and let them know what's going on, because you can't believe how many deals you can get from title, because nobody ever calls and tells title or escrow what is happening and what is going on with that loan. So they love the communication too. But I call both the buyer's agent and the listing agent. And a lot of the agents I have that I do business with come from me calling. They were the listing agent. And by the end of the transaction,
title company too.
Yep. By the end of the transaction, they're telling me they want to work with me. They can't believe the level of communication. So that's all it is. You get that first appointment. You get that first appointment for me, because I don't have time to get that first appointment. And then after that, it's just calling them. I'm just calling friends. I'm sitting here with phone burner and it's just going through, and I'm just calling my friends, leave them a message if they don't answer. Hey, gosh, you must be busy. Hopefully you're writing a contract. I'll catch up with you later in the week, something like that. And then throughout the week, I might call someone and chat with them. If I didn't talk to them on Monday, I don't always do that, but they know that every Monday I'm going to call them. And they know that every Friday I'm going to send them a text message telling them what my weekend schedule is like, even though they're not going to send me business on the weekend. I think it helped me sending that on Friday actually helped free up my weekends. And I know that's kind of counterintuitive.
Wow. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
because now I wasn't waiting all day to see if someone would call. You know, if I had to go to the grocery store or go ride my horse or whatever I was going to do, I wasn't panicked that an agent was going to call, because I had set those specific hours for them. And outside of those hours, I felt more free to go do stuff, because if they called and I didn't get right back to them, well, you know what? You didn't call me during my office hours.
You'd set the expectation front. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it
That's
doesn't have to be a lot.
efficient.
You don't have to have, you know, all weekend. Just set a couple of office hours, just so they know they can get a hold of you. They're probably not going to call you, but they know they can get a hold of you. And that's really what it's about.
Nice. And apart from the Monday call, the Thursday text, and then the Friday text, was there anything else on top of that that you also did, like anything apart from that to stay top of mind or anything like that for the realtors?
No, I don't do like a lot of emails. You know, I mean, I post stuff on Facebook, but a lot of my realtors are on my Facebook, but you know, I try not to make it salesy, anything like that.
Was there a free
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, was there a frequency of like how long you did that? Like, for example, if you had a conversation with the realtor and like you started sending the text, like was there a point where like you stopped doing that, or like how long does that usually go on for?
So 12 weeks. If I have, you know, if I talked to you and I felt as though we had a relationship starting, but I called you every Monday for 12 weeks and it just went to voicemail, and you never called and sent me a deal, and I texted you, you know, every Friday, and I didn't hear from you, then you know what, you're off that list and the next agent is on, because I have enough to replace that. I don't have to force that relationship.
Right.
There was you know, there was some that were like that.
Mm-hmm. So if there's an agent that is like engaging with you, they're responding back to the text, then they stay on that list, and every Monday, every Thursday, and every Friday for like the end of time, potentially, they get the text, right?
As long, yeah, exactly. As long as,
very cool.
You know, if we're doing a deal a month or even every 2 months, that's fine. But, you know, do I want 10 deals a month from each realtor? Well, of course I do.
Yeah.
But if I'm getting a deal every month or month and a half, you know, I'm happy with that. I've got 30 agents. If that's happening and I'm getting, and when I say deal, I mean doable deals. Don't send me your Zillow leads that aren't going anywhere. I do have a whole follow-up for the Zillow leads, but I don't count those as good leads. I'm talking about referrals. If they refer someone to me, you know, one a month or one every couple of months, that's great. They're going to stay on my list. All of my agents do at least, I don't call anybody that doesn't do at least 8 buy-side transactions per year. So, you know what, if you're only doing 2 or 3, you're, you know, and I used to be the kind that if you were new in the business, I was going to help you get started. I was going to do your marketing for you. I was going to help you with your social. I was going to do all of that. I don't have time for that now because I'm too busy with deals. So I've completely, from using you and getting that many appointments, I've totally restructured my business after 30 years.
Amazing. One thing I was going to ask, that's great. Appreciate that. One thing I was going to ask before going to the last questions here. One thing that I was curious about, and one thing that I know that you mentioned before, for the agents that are like referring your business and like, for example, they don't really know how you get like referrals. Was there one thing that, or several things that you do to like help them like kind of set the expectation on like like how they qualify the buyer,
how they get people to me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So one, I tell them, don't just give the borrower or your buyer my phone number. Send an email and introduce us, a text message, or set the expectation that I will call them. Because we all know what happens. The agent's going to tell them, oh, you need to call Linnea and she'll, you know, take care of you. But then, you know, they're at their friend's barbecue over the weekend who says, oh, you need to use my lender. And, you know, Lord knows who that is. So Yes, I want them to introduce us. And in the minute, this is huge too with buyers. And I've kind of always done this, but the minute an agent calls me with a referral or text me, normally they'll text me, but they text me someone's name, I call that person immediately. I don't call them to take a loan app right then. I just call them, oh, hey, Mindy over at Blue Diamond Realty said that you're interested in buying a home and you need to get pre-qualified. I'd love to set a time that we can talk, what's good for you. And I throw out sometimes.
Yeah.
That keeps that buyer from going somewhere. It keeps the realtor happy that you, and then I let the realtor know immediately. Hey,
Yeah.
just reached out to Bob and we're going to talk on Tuesday at 6 p.m. or whatever it is. That makes that buyer feel very special that you reached out to them right away. They're not wondering if you're going to call. And so they go to Wells Fargo, I'm going to go to the bank. I'll just go in and see, about their mortgage. And it just sets that expectation that I'm not going to randomly take a call when I'm driving down the street to take a loan out, because honestly, realtors do expect that, and buyers expect that. This way I'm calling, I'm saying, hey, I want to set up an appointment with you, but I call immediately. If I get their voicemail, I follow up with a text. Just telling them, hey, this is Linnea from, well, it was Cardinal at the time, but and Mindy told me to give you a call. I just left you a voicemail message. Let's set a time to talk. And one thing is we have to, and then if I don't hear from them, then I send an email too, because communication, we have to communicate with people on the channel that they want to communicate on. And I know, email's kind of gone by the wayside, but I still use it. I still follow up with it. Texting, I get probably more response from texting than anything.
Yeah, same with our stuff. When we do the appointment reminders for our clients, like text is always the most responsive. People always respond to the text, and when we send the emails, like it's hardly anything. Like I don't even think they really like check it. They just like kind of banner blindness kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. And then is there any sort of like thing where you tell them like, hey, like this is kind of like the criteria for like the type of referrals that I would be best at helping with, like so they don't send like low quality?
I don't, and here's the reason. One, a lot of times people will come to me, borrowers will come to me and they'll be like, I think I have really bad credit, and they're like really embarrassed, and I don't know if I qualify for a house. And then I get in there and it's like, okay, so you had one late payment 3 years ago. Some people are so conscientious that they think they now have bad credit because they missed their Capital One payment. So I don't want someone telling an agent that, and then the agent thinking, oh, well, I'm not going to bother with this person. The other thing is I tend to, I do a lot of counseling with my buyers and get them on a path. We get them on that path to home ownership. So maybe their credit isn't great. Maybe they only have a 560 right now, but I run a credit analyzer on everything and figure out how do we get them to where we need them to be. They don't have any money in the bank. How are we going to get on a savings plan? So some people I talk to, yeah, they are a year out from buying. So I never discourage a realtor from sending me any buyers. Referrals. Now that's totally different than sending me the Zillow leads.
Yeah.
So I just want to be really clear about that. Don't send me all those Zillow leads.
Yeah.
They're honestly, I don't have time for that.
If
you want to send me 100 old leads, if someone has like old leads, they've been doing a lot of Zillow or Realtor, Boomtown or whatever, I will put it into my CRM and it's all automated in there.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't count that as a referral. I'm just going to try to get those people back, eventually get them pre-qualified and back to the realtor. The conversion rate on that is so low. But for referrals, give me everybody to talk to and I will make the decision on, because everybody can be a qualified buyer. It might take 2 years.
Love it.
Yeah,
And then you follow up with those people, like you keep in front of
I
them the
do.
same way that you do with the realtors.
I do. So I put them, well, let's just say someone comes to me that has a 560 credit score. And I say, all right, here's what we need to do. We need to, open a new credit card and, get some revolving credit going. And once you charge $100 a month or on it and pay it off. And I want you to start putting X amount in the bank. And so I get them on that plan. And then I tell them, I'm going to follow up with you on, usually 60 days out. And I give them the date. I'm going to call them. I put it in my calendar and I call them just to follow up and make sure. If the agent sends me someone who is doable right now, I am going to take that loan app. I'm going to get them completely pre-qualified, hopefully even pre-approved. I like to get everything through underwriting first. And then I'm going to follow up with them every Thursday. So those are my pre-approved and looking, and I call them. In the past, I, like everybody else, we've gotten really busy and we will forget to call our pre-approved and looking people. And guess what? They go to an open house somewhere and there's a lender sitting there and all of a sudden they're with another lender. So
Follow up.
yeah.
Fortune is in the follow up.
Yep. And I build relationships with my borrowers kind of the same as I do with my realtors. As a rule, I have very strong relationships. I have been in this business so long. Oh my gosh, I'm now doing loans for the grandchildren of people that I did their first home loan for, 30 years ago. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe I should just retire, but I build those long-term relationships, but every now and then I would lose someone because I hadn't called that person. I hadn't built that relationship strong enough. So that's my Thursday.
Wow.
Calling
That's
all
one
people.
thing I've noticed about you is like you did like a really phenomenal job with like the follow-up. You're very like not only just like very deliberate about how you did it, but also like very consistent. Like you always like
Has to
you
be.
had a schedule for it, which is like very like
Has to be.
amazing to see. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
snowballs. Consistency that creates
Yep.
that snowball and momentum. Awesome. Cool. Last question here. One thing that I was curious about, I mean, I'm sure over the span of your time in the mortgage industry, you've gotten like dozens of outreaches from marketing companies and a lot of different options that are out there. So one thing that I was curious about when you came across our company and we hopped on a call, why did you decide to, and this could be like related to someone thinking about potentially working with us, like why work with us instead of, for example, like another company that's out there like selling leads or offering like
Oh
referral
gosh.
partners?
Oh, just say honestly, I can't, and I'm sorry if there's any lead generator people that are listening to this, but you're going to waste so much money trying to get that one lead, a convertible lead. You're going to call 100 people. You're probably only going to talk to 5 of them, and maybe one is going to be a decent lead. I mean, in the past, I've tried leads and never had any success. I've always been a relationship builder. Things were very different. Well, obviously pre-pandemic, but even before that, we used to go to chamber meetings and we would go to board of realtor meetings and everybody would be there. And that's how we built our relationships. And, everything has changed over the years.
Right.
And that telephone I used to be a face-to-face person because to me, if I meet someone, I can, and they don't want to talk to me, I can disarm them with a smile, So the phone, and I know it's this way for every loan officer out there. The phone is a scary thing. You have to get over the scary part. And especially,
call reluctance.
Oh my gosh, call reluctance is huge. And I am guilty of, when I was having to call and make my initial appointments, I can literally take like 8 minutes to dial a phone number. It's like, oh God, if I'm not using phone burner and I'm like, oh my God, and then I would do something, then I, dial the number. I didn't want to call either. I have zero call reluctance. Well, I guess a little bit, but really zero call reluctance. When I'm calling that appointment that you've already set up for me, I don't have any call relay. That person's already agreed to talk to me. It's, it's more of a warm call. So
Yeah.
I think that is the biggest thing. But why did I choose you guys? So I had started looking for a VA. I was just going to do my own virtual assistant thing. And I realized that it was now going to take management time. I'm going to have to manage
Yeah.
that person. I'm going to have to train them. I'm going to
Role play, do all that stuff. Yeah.
And even just the thought of going through that interview process, like I can interview a loan officer and tell you in two minutes if that's going to be a good loan officer or not. This was something totally different. Like I didn't know how to hire a VA. I really didn't. Like, what do I ask them, kind of thing. And I didn't have time for that. I needed to get more files in the door, like every loan officer does. We need to be rainmakers. And so when I talked to you and I knew you're going to manage everything, that was worth its weight in gold right there, because I didn't have to deal with it. And you're just going to make those appointments. I can't tell any other loan officer enough how important it is just to have someone make those appointments for you. Appointment setting is a skill, and loan officers don't necessarily have that skill. And I finally realized that that's a totally different skill set than what I have. So that's why I went with you guys. I knew you were going to manage everything. And it was about building the leads, about building realtor leads. We all say we want to do business without, and I'm sitting in the middle of a RE/MAX office right now, you guys. We all say we want to do business without relying on realtors. Yeah. I am also a certified divorce lending professional. And so it's always, I'm just going to do divorce attorneys. It's just not, realtors are our bread and butter. Let's face it.
I remember we talked about that. Yeah, that was one of the things too you brought up, like divorce attorneys and financial advisors.
Yeah.
And
I do business with all those people.
Yeah.
But I don't get the volume that I do with realtors. They're our bread and butter. Everything else is gravy.
So to the loan officer that's probably watching this right now, probably like before getting on a call with us or after, like what would you say to that specific person who's kind of thinking like, hey, is this legit? Like, is this going to work for me? Like, does this stuff actually work? Like, what would you say to that specific LO?
The only reason it wouldn't work is if you don't follow up. So Maverick Media is going to get the appointments for you. It is then up to you to follow up and build those relationships. If it's a cost issue, one deal a month is going to more than pay for, what you're paying for a virtual assistant, what you're paying Gilberto to get you, let's talk about the number of leads I had, or not leads, but appointments I had. So in the first 3 months, and this was in that 3 months, I turned you off twice.
Yeah.
Right in the middle, and then at the end, probably
for a couple of weeks.
We were 3 weeks before. So out of that 12 weeks, I think I actually had you calling, had the caller maybe 8 weeks, maybe 7 or 8 weeks. I'm going to say 7 weeks total. And we had 86 appointments. Out of those 86 appointments, and this is, I don't care who's setting the appointment, this is always going to happen. Even if I call someone and set my own appointment, I have a 50-50 chance that they're going to show or not, about half.
Naturally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then if they don't show, I call them, I text them, hey, still want to meet with you. So out of those half that didn't show, we'll say I talked to 42 in that amount of time. And 42 is a lot of agents when you already have 30 that you're working with. And now you have 42 that you want to build I didn't build a relationship with all of them. Probably half of them. I got another 20 I need to add in there. And I need to really nurture those relationships. That is a lot. If I got one deal from one of those new agents, and I had, out of the 86 appointments, talked to 42 or 43, whatever it was, and I'm now only going to do business with half of them, I only need one deal out of that to pay for my whole 3 months
Yeah.
of having a virtual assistant. So I know it might seem like a lot in the beginning. You're thinking, especially new loan officers, how
Yeah.
can I find a way to do it? Because you need to have those appointments. I wish there was an easier way. There's not. This
Great way
is
to
the
put it.
easiest way to do it.
Bit of a shortcut. Yeah, I remember Eileen had mentioned a colleague of yours in mortgage marketing animals, like you guys were able to do like in a span of like 6 weeks what I wasn't able to do in like 6 months. So it's kind
Oh
of
my
just
gosh.
collapsing that time and just bringing more of that
Yep.
appointments in only a couple months. So yeah, great words. I really appreciate you joining on for this interview here and sharing like all the knowledge that you've had from like all the years in the industry. And really, it's been like a great pleasure to work with you. I mean, and seeing how you work and, just seeing the results that you've gotten. Like me personally, I'm super glad whenever, I check in with our client manager, see how our clients are doing. When I hear like the results that you're seeing, it just like makes me so happy to see that our clients are winning.
Oh, you know what? Like I say, I owe this most recent run up in my business, honestly, to your appointment setter. He's amazing.
I've let him know. Yeah, he's happy as well. He's ecstatic.
So yeah, absolutely. Quintupled my business 5 times what it was.
Awesome. I love it. Great. And congratulations on
So you are
the new
appreciated.
branch manager position as well. I
Oh
think
my
it
gosh.
cut out there as
I
well.
know.
So
I
there's
know.
like another run up as well, and just like
Yep.
great many things. So I'm sure we'll be in touch. And yeah, thanks again for your time and for all the wisdom you laid out for all the loan officers that are going to be watching this.
Sure. You know what? I hope someone takes away at least one little nugget of information.
Awesome.
Always happy to help.